Should Jose Mourinho still get the sack as Manchester United manager? That's the question we're asking today. Welcome to Beautiful Goal TV.
Oh, what a finish! Beautiful goal.
Okay, so Manchester United made an incredible comeback at the weekend against Newcastle United after a disastrous start. They managed to pull off a real Fergie-style comeback. I thought those days were gone at Old Trafford, to be honest. It's been a long, long time since we've come back from a major deficit at halftime to completely turn the game on its head. Credit to Jose for the changes he made. I think he deserved them, and he deserved the victory. And the players showed real character. It was unexpected, and it was so necessary, I think, for the club. People are asking the question, did that save Jose Mourinho's job? Some people are saying this win papers over the cracks. Other people are saying that, and that's a very popular opinion, by the way, other people are saying that, it could be the beginning of a new moment for the club. It could be a watershed moment in Jose Mourinho's career at Manchester United and in his career as a whole. Can he turn it around? Will this be, one of those moments like the Mark Robbins goal that famously saved Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United career, allegedly? Can this Alexis Sanchez goal be the goal that saves Jose Mourinho's Manchester United career and turns it around? Well, it looks like it for the time being, because so far nothing's come out of the club. Obviously, there was the report in the Mirror that came out saying that he was going to be fired whether we beat Newcastle United or not. In the build-up to the game, Jose subsequently, said he received a text message from the board assuring him that his job was safe ahead of the Newcastle game. And then, of course, we're going to beat Newcastle. And despite the fact that, some people are saying Ed Woodward was looking glum at the end of the game when Sanchez goal went in, we don't know what the timing is on that photo. You can easily edit that photo and say, Ed Woodward didn't look too happy, but it could have been a photo from early on in the game. We haven't seen video footage of Ed Woodward's reaction to that goal. I'd be very surprised if he actually publicly had a negative reaction to Manchester United winning a game. Of course, whether United were actually going to pull the trigger or not remains to be seen. It could yet happen during the international break, although I think given the nature of the comeback, it would look absolutely ridiculous, and we have to remember that as bad and as, horrible as this start to the season, and especially the last 4 games before the Newcastle game had been for us. Obviously, there was the loss at West Ham, there was the draw against Wolves, there was getting knocked out the cup by Derby, there was the woeful display against Valencia at home in the Champions League, and, the mood around the club had just been so incredibly negative that, it was hard to see us even getting a positive result in this Newcastle game. I, for one, was not overly optimistic. And even though we got the win, and I enjoyed the win, I enjoyed the comeback as a fan, definitely would I have preferred us to go into the break with a win, and such a dramatic win, rolling back the years, Fergie time goal even. Of course, yeah, that's what we want to see as United fans, but I do think that it was kind of just delaying the inevitable. And given the run of fixtures that we have coming back from the international break, where we have Chelsea away first up, good Lord, that's gonna be interesting to say the least. Then we've got Juventus in the Champions League, we've got Everton at home, and then I think we travel to Bournemouth away, which is a very tough trip. Bournemouth are looking very good under Eddie Howe, as usual. And then, of course, we've got Man City and Juventus again in the Champions League. So can Jose Mourinho survive that run of fixtures? Or will the dark cloud descend upon Old Trafford once again and descend upon Jose Mourinho if we fail to win at Chelsea, or if we get beat at Chelsea, which is honestly what I'm expecting? My answer to that is yes. I think that it was a stay of execution, and I think that Jose will still get sacked because there are deep-seated and deep-rooted problems in this whole Jose Mourinho regime at Old Trafford. I think we can look at his relationship with the players and say that he's lost the dressing room, at least half the dressing room, and I don't think that we can read too much into that second half performance against Newcastle. I think that was a matter of professional pride and the players just saying, come on lads, let's just pull ourselves together here and get something out the game. And I think obviously the fact that we were chasing the game in the second half helped a lot. We're not going to start every game with that level of intensity and that much commitment and passion and intent to go forward. Definitely not Chelsea away. Will Jose revert to, parking the bus effectively in the bigger games, or will he open up and say, we're Manchester United? I've seen quotes from Paul Ince saying Jose needs to change his philosophy. It would be more than changing his philosophy. It would be changing his personality, which is one of the reasons why I just can't see it happening. I can't see a way how Jose Mourinho turns this around. I think there's a couple of scenarios, a couple of ways this can go. This could turn out to be a watershed moment, and Mourinho saves his Man United career. 10 years now, we're looking back on that Sanchez goal the same way we look back on that Mark Robbins goal and say, wow, that was the day it all changed for Mourinho. 10 years from now, he's still our manager. We go on a run. We win the league this year. We win the Champions League this year. You can tell I'm laughing because that is just not realistic. That is a fairy tale, to be honest, and that's just not going to happen. Jose Mourinho has never turned it around in his third season at a club when it's gone badly, and that's been his last 3 jobs, including this one. Falling out with star players, Ramos, Casillas at Real Madrid, later on, even Pepe, Ronaldo in the Portuguese contingent, Marcelo, the Portuguese-speaking contingent, I should say, falling out with them, burning bridges when he left Madrid. Same thing at Chelsea with Eden Hazard, Eva Canero, and the whole scandal that happened with costing her job. And he's done a similar thing at United. He's created his own problems. We're going to look at a timeline, for me, dating back to just before the Champions League quarterfinals last year, when his relationship with Paul Pogba began to deteriorate. Then we saw Pogba dropped for the Sevilla game. We saw United getting knocked out, and his comments after that game riled a lot of fans, where he chose to throw the club's recent history in the Champions League, bring that up, and throw that in our faces, and basically shit on the legacy and shit on the prestige of the club and say, well, United fans should be used to this. For me, that was kind of where I lost it with Jose, and where I started to feel a disconnect between him and some of the support base, myself included, at that moment, because it's all about him. And I think subsequently, in the time that's passed since then, we've just seen more of the same, where Jose Mourinho's narcissism is out of control and he can't seem to help himself. Even after the Newcastle game, he was talking about, it's not about me, it's all about the club. And he then proceeds to go on a 5-minute monologue about a manhunt and about how pundits in the media are out to get him. Did the same thing in his press conference, where he said, it's not about me, this is about Manchester United, and the club is bigger than any individual. Then he proceeds to bring up the fact that when I won at 4-0 at Anfield, I remember the Liverpool fans singing. Well, first of all, you didn't win, Chelsea won. It's always about him. It's I won. I won 3 Premier League titles. Fuck off, will you? And anyway, let me get back to what I was saying, how he's lost it. We can go back to the summer where he chose to criticize Paul Pogba for winning the World Cup, fines Martial for going home and having a baby effectively and not coming back on time. Compassion, right? He criticizes the young players that you had to bring on tour, complains about not having his full squad for the World Cup. Then he, begs players to come back early, going against PFA regulations, effectively emotionally blackmailing players. He then publicly criticizes players after every result. It's all self-preservation. And don't give me the bullshit about he's protecting the players. He's fucking throwing the players under the bus. That's the truth of the matter. It's all, when the results go badly, when results go well, Tottenham away last season, in the camera, it's all about him. When results go badly, it's all about how it's not his fault. Tottenham, we trained well this season. I don't understand this performance because tactically we were prepared for this game. Wolves, the players' attitude was wrong. I don't understand how the attitude can be wrong when my attitude is right all the time. Even yesterday against Newcastle, he couldn't resist throwing some players under the bus, claiming that Scott McTominay and Marcus Rashford were scared to play on the pitch. If I'm Rashford and McTominay listens to that, I'm thinking, fuck you, Jose. So that's the whole time. And then, of course, criticizing Ed Woodward and complaining even yesterday in the press conference that, and he did it after West Ham as well, with the slight dig at the club's scouting network by praising West Ham's scouting network. He did it again after the Newcastle game, saying, we need the quality to play it from the back. We don't have the quality to play from the back, so we have to play Pogba and we have to play Matic at the back. Fuck off. We know that you didn't get Alderweireld. This is common knowledge. Work with what you've got. Stop complaining. Just get on with your job. And look, I think that there are, irreparable damages at the club in certain relationships, his relationships with most of the players. And then, of course, there was the thing with Pogba that happened. How can I just say the thing? It was a major thing, giving Pogba the captaincy after all the comments that he made about him during the World Cup. And then Pogba coming out after the Wolves game saying we need to attack, and subsequently getting stripped of the captaincy. How has all of this happened in the space of 2-3 months, only in a world where Jose Mourinho is your manager? And, as for that first scenario, it's just not going to happen. Second scenario, it could have been United gets Zidane. That was what all the talk was about. Obviously, we know now, we now know that that's not going to happen because Zidane's agent has come out and said that his client is not interested in the job. He spoke to him. You can see the quotes by Zidane's agent on screen right now. Zidane's agents come out and said that Zidane's pretty much not interested in the job, which throughout this whole time that all this speculation about Zidane has been about, it's kind of been my thoughts on the matter. I thought okay, look, I mean, I'm a massive Zinedine Zidane fan. I think he doesn't get enough credit for what he did at Real Madrid, but I just couldn't see why he would be interested in the job as much as I would like to think he'd want the job. Yes, it's Manchester United, but first of all, it's not Manchester United as we know it. It's Manchester United in a rut, and it's a massive job. And even Jose Mourinho, one of the best managers in the world, has gone in there and not been able to really be successful. So, and one of the most experienced managers in the world at the top level. Zidane might have the quality, but this is not a case of just walking into a Real Madrid side that had already been successful under Ancelotti and were just underperforming under Benitez. This is a case of Manchester United side in dire straits, a club that needs wholesale changes. He's going to need to perform surgery on that squad. That squad needs some heart surgery, open heart surgery, and he's going to need to be backed in the transfer market, which of late is something that the board haven't always done. They don't seem to give the manager really full control of recruitment, even though I think Jose has had more of a say than we're being led to believe of late, especially with his early recruitment at the club. But yeah, obviously now Zidane is not happening, so we can throw that one out the window. Although the other interesting thing is that I think the club must have approached Zidane and his agent and at least inquired whether they'd be interested in the job, because Zidane's agent said, I've discussed it with him, and he said training in England is not really something that interests him. Why has he discussed that with his client if he was never interested, if United had never contacted him? So it seems to me clearly there's been a discussion there. So yeah, that scenario is just not going to happen. Most likely scenario, I think, is Jose survives for now, but the second 1, 2, maybe 3 negative results come on the trot, the pressure returns, and he comes out with some inflammatory, crazy comments, as he always does, and ultimately he ends up leaving the club, be it during the 6-game run. I'll be shocked if he survives the next 6 games after the international break, to be honest. But if he does, let's say he survives until Christmas, I think the second that it becomes clear that we're not going to be in the race for the top 4. Right now, we are only 7 points off the top, but let's be honest, we are going to get left in the dust by these clubs because they're far better than us. And in terms of their quality and their attacking potential, and they all have identities. That's the case at Man City. That's the case at Liverpool. It's the case at Spurs. That's the case at Arsenal now. Even certainly at Chelsea, these clubs all have clear identities, clear ways of playing. Can't say that about this Manchester United side and about Jose Mourinho. I agree. Rio Ferdinand mentioned that point. He said after, in your 3rd season, the club should have there should be an imprint of the manager's philosophy, and there simply isn't. And that's an indictment of Jose Mourinho, and I fully agree with that. So I think the most likely scenario is, as I said, he gets sacked between now and Christmas. And I wasn't sold on this idea until recently when I've done more research into it. A lot of my friends have been telling me Pochettino is the man. Woodward really wants Pochettino in. And I was like, yeah, look, Pochettino's done a great job at Spurs. His European record was patchy. He hasn't won anything. Is he really a good fit? Is he the guy who's going to bring success back to United? I still don't know if I believe that he is, but I do certainly believe after the research I've done in the past few days that he is the man who Ed Woodward wants. So I think, obviously, Zidane's not an option. So what will happen probably is Mourinho gets sacked, Carrick and McKenna take over till the end of the season, and United, between now and the end of the season, try to prepare the way for Mauricio Pochettino to come in. I think first they also need to bring in a director of football that can be a buffer between the manager and between Ed Woodward. Ed Woodward should not be involved in recruitment decisions and involved in footballing decisions. He's a banker and he should stay on the business side, where he has done a great job in terms of making the club money. But he can't be tasked with running the club in a football way, in a football sense, the way that David Gill, his predecessor, could. So that needs to happen, and then maybe Pochettino comes in the summer. Whether or not United can convince Pochettino to join, he's got a great project going at Spurs. They're about to move into a new stadium. Why would he leave? Wouldn't he first want to be successful at Tottenham? You got to ask that question. So that's a whole nother debate. Daniel Levy's certainly not going to allow Pochettino to leave mid-season. So that's why I say Carrick and McKenna until the end of the season. And then make a push for Pochettino. If, however, Pochettino isn't successful, another scenario that could potentially be the case is Giggsy comes and takes the job. Now, that's actually the one which I would like to see. I actually wish that instead of rejecting the assistant manager's role when it was offered to him, when Mourinho came in, I wish Giggsy would have taken it. Because if he had done that, instead of taking the Wales job, right now, he'd be prime candidate for this job. It wouldn't even be a debate. It would be, okay, get Mourinho out, give it to Giggsy. And, you know, that might be another fairy tale storybook ending, Giggs taking over and, you know, basically just Ferguson era 2.0. But I really think it could happen, you know. I think that Giggs is only, I think the three traits that we needed for Sir Alex Ferguson's successor was to be someone who is a proven winner, was to be someone who knows how to bring through young players, and you would give young players a chance. And I think Giggs, having been a young player and come through the ranks at Old Trafford himself, and we saw that in those 3 or 4 games that he took over after David Moyes got sacked, that he was willing to do that, and I think he would do that. And the third thing is that he would have to have an attacking philosophy, and I think clearly he does have that. And he has only known success under Sir Alex Ferguson, so we haven't seen what he's done as a manager. Of course not. So far he's done well at Wales, but he hasn't really been a proven successful manager. But then again, neither had Zinedine Zidane when he went to the job at Real Madrid, but he knew the club. Neither had Pep Guardiola before he got the Barcelona job, but he knew the fabric of the club. And Giggs could be our Pep, could be our Zidane. That's how I feel. And for me, he ticks all the boxes in terms of he only knows, you know, his only managerial role model his whole career has been Sir Alex Ferguson. Someone who's been with Sir Alex through that whole successful period, the golden age in the history of Manchester United. He only knows success, and I think he would know how to bring it back. He definitely would give young players a chance, and I think, again, having played in some of the most attacking teams in the history of the club, and some of the best attacking teams in the history of English football, in the history of world football, I think he certainly would have an attacking philosophy as a manager. So I think if we couldn't get Pochettino, I think Giggs fits the bill. I would love to see Giggs come back and take the job, and I think also his status as a club legend, as an icon in Manchester United, would give him a little bit more time. I think people would be more inclined to be patient, and Giggs, if Giggs come in and give him some time to get his feet under the table, and if things didn't go well for 2-3 years, I think there would be a little bit more leeway shown by the board and patience shown by the fans, because of the fact that it was Giggsy. Because I think that it's not a quick fix. There are structural issues at the club right now, no matter which manager comes in. Those structural issues are still going to be there. And I think things need to change from within. Not just the manager needs to change, but the whole way that the Glazers approach running this club needs to change. And they need to realize that, yes, the club can make money, even if they're not successful on the pitch. But, you know, ultimately they want to make money. And if we are successful on the pitch, the club stands to make a lot more money, in my opinion. So hopefully the Glazers wake up to that realization too. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit me up in the comments below. This has been a long one. I guess I'm making up for lost time because it's been a while since my last upload. Sorry about the silence, by the way. For several reasons, I haven't quite been able to film for the last couple of weeks. But I'm back, and we'll continue to upload videos at least on a weekly basis. Got a couple of interesting videos coming up about Arsenal's quiet evolution under Emery, and also what the fuck has gone wrong at Real Madrid. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Should Jose still be sacked? It's a yes from me. When should he be sacked, and who do you think should come in to replace him, now that we know Zidane is not a candidate? That's it for Beautiful Gold TV for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Much appreciated, and I'll see you in the next one.
Oh, what a finish!